Hello, Amelia. How are you doing today? Are you well?
I'm good, thank you. Yeah, are you good? How are you?
I'm not too bad. I'm a bit knackered. I've been filming all day, but it was really fun, and we got some
All
amazing
day.
stuff. So I'm satisfied.
Wow. What have you been filming?
So me and my brother kind of have spent lockdown like writing this fucking crazy feature script. So we're basically shooting that at the moment with a few friends, and it's really nice because we're literally just using mates. So it's like all very casual, nothing too like super formal.
Yeah, that sounds really
Yeah.
cool. That
How,
sounds really
how,
good.
how have you been coping through this whole crazy lockdown?
It's been, I think the first 2 months were probably the hardest because that was quite a tight lockdown. And I
Mm,
mean, I tried to be productive with music and stuff, but it didn't really take off, didn't really get much done. But then after that, I think I've slowly been starting to getting into the swing of things, and like it's not all that bad. I've been pretty chill about it. Yeah, so it's
difficult.
fine.
Do you feel like, because I was saying this towards the beginning, that like the lockdown almost, if you were a creative, it kind of put like an extra pressure
Exactly.
on yourself to
It
be more
literally,
creative.
yeah. For some people, it's been like a really great experience. A lot of my friends have said it's given them the time to sort of sit and reflect and then create. But for me, I feel like I'm quite introspective anyway. Like I will just sit and think, and then like I've already done enough of that. I don't need I don't need any more. It's kind of just drained me a bit, but
Yeah,
you know, it
yeah.
is different
It's
for everyone.
it's kind of like, yeah, it was weird because it was kind of like a bit of an introvert's dream in like a twisted way.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
I kind of, because I'm a little bit introverted as well, and it was like
yeah,
yeah, it's weird because like suddenly when everyone's locking down, it's kind of like, oh, this is kind of nice. Like everyone's now in my boat, but
yeah,
at the same time, yeah, it was like, I don't think for the beginning, at least anywhere, I wasn't being mad creative. It's like I think I needed a couple months of just being bored and doing nothing
mm.
to like spark something, if you know what I
Yeah.
mean.
Like this was this sort of
Yeah.
lockdown. It was the spark to do this.
Yeah, absolutely, for sure. And yeah, and it's helped massively actually, just being able, because I think like at the beginning it was crazy, like, obviously, you weren't even allowed to like meet other people, though I
I
can't
know,
say that
it was
I
mad.
was I was being the most obedient person, because my friends are a bit wild, and it was my birthday in lockdown as well, so I had to do something for that. But,
Mm.
yeah, I think it has been nice to see a lot of people do stuff eventually, in the spare time. But again, what's deep as well is a lot of people haven't actually had a break. Their work has just continued throughout the whole thing.
Yeah, like my mum, she's been flat working,
Really.
flat out. Yeah, I'm living at home, so it's been like it's kind of sad because I didn't really get that time with my family as much
Mm,
because everyone was kind of like, oh, lockdown, and now we can sort of go back home and be with our families and
mm,
yeah, for me it was like my family was kind of busy working.
yeah.
So yeah, but still it's been nice. Actually, I've still had that time with my family, so it's been nice in that respect. I think definitely.
What does your mum do?
She's just, I don't know, she just does an office job, so it's just writing in numbers into a computer. I don't know, I don't actually I don't know what she does, but it looks interesting, definitely.
Yeah, well, it's deep, like, because my mum actually at the start she's working for the NHS, so it was like there was
uh,
there was definitely no breaks, but it was weird as well because it kind of seemed, like she was doing like social work, so it wasn't like frontline stuff, but yeah, it was just kind of strange that a lot of people, it was just like business as usual, and
yeah, that's
it kind of makes you
interesting.
feel guilty as well, doesn't it, when if you get the free time and
Uh,
everyone else is just like, yeah. But anyway, let's get on to your
oh,
amazing talent.
oh. No, I could sit and talk about this. Social
I'm
chit chat.
I'm rambling away. But yeah, no, because I see you and DA just dropped some fire.
Oh, thank you very, very much. Yeah, that was a lockdown project. That was a good, like, we kind of decided we were going to do it before lockdown, and then we started it, and then lockdown was like, no,
Yeah.
don't. And then so we couldn't actually work on it together in the studio or anything. So we spent weeks just sending like stems back and forth, and like sending a beat to each other and be like, oh, do you like this beat, or can you do anything with this beat? Yeah.
Do you have your own recording stuff at home?
Yeah, I've got a little setup in my bedroom. It's very small. Like, my bedroom itself is like tiny, and so I can't have a big setup anyway. So I've just got my laptop, a little keyboard, mic, and then my guitar, and that's pretty much all I use, really. Not that much.
You play guitar as well?
Yeah, I play guitar as well. Yeah, guitar, and I'd say, so before I sort of started singing, I did piano. Was like, playing the piano was my thing. That was like what I did. I was like, oh, I love it, you know. And I got quite good, and I used to teach kids how to play, and like,
wow.
Yeah, I was loving that. And I played at church. I was doing everything. and then I played guitar, and then I was like, oh, let me try singing as well. And then threw it all together, and then started producing. Yeah, that's basically what I did.
Like, that's crazy though, because like, are you recent to singing? Because obviously, like, to discover a voice like that, like, is that kind of mad? Like, because obviously you got like an amazing voice. Did you like not know that when you were just playing instruments, or?
I think as a kid, I think everyone like sings. Do you know what I mean?
I didn't.
And I would. Surely you did. Surely you
in the shower, maybe in the shower.
Yeah. Well, I think when I was little, I used to like singing, but my voice used to be really. I used to be quite like, it was quite quiet and timid and high pitched in a way, and kind of squeaky. And then I sort of experimented after listening to a lot of jazz artists. I thought, oh, your voice can do this stuff too. I was like, okay, let me experiment a bit. And then after I experimented, I realized like the full extent of what you can kind of do with your voice. Not that mine's like that good. It's just a really cool it was a cool like thing to just learn. So yeah, that's cool.
Would you say like, do you think playing an instrument helps with like, or to what extent does playing an instrument like help with music making and even singing?
A lot, so much. I don't know if I'd be anywhere near like how involved and in depth and with music I am. Like, currently I'm like so fully into it. I can just create in a day, and it feels really like free. But I feel like I wouldn't be able to do that if I didn't know any of the instruments, or like how to create a song or a melody, you know. I don't know if it would be the same. Yeah.
Well, it's such a nice combination to have, really. Like, I'm kind of annoyed that I never learned an instrument. It feels like it would be a nice skill to have. It's not too late though, maybe.
No, never too late. I mean, I think I picked up the guitar. I picked it up early, but I didn't really properly like play it until quite late. Like, it took me a while to get into it. I started having lessons when I was young, and I didn't really vibe with them, and I stopped the lessons. And then I started picking the guitar up again, and then learning myself, and that was kind of late on. So I think you can do it any stage in your life. Definitely.
Yeah, I hear that. I'm gonna have to get on it, because I love like the sound of like instruments like piano and guitar. So I'm gonna have to take you up.
Yeah, do it for sure.
What's it been like working with DA? Like, I've known him, I think, for like, I want to say probably like 4 or 5 years now, and he's just been amazing since, you know, with his output.
Madly talented. Like, just he can kind of pick out sounds that I wouldn't normally like think, oh yeah, that's cool. I'm kind of more like basic. I like use my piano, use my guitar, and be like, yeah, that's that, add some drums. But he'd be able to pick out sounds that are really weird and really different, and be like, yeah, let's use this, let's put this in a track, and then create something with that. It's mad. It's amazing to me. I can't really do that. I can't do it like that. But yeah, it's cool. I think we worked really well in that respect. Like, we bounced off each other like that. Yeah, definitely.
Nice. And interestingly, like, obviously, because I didn't even know you played instruments. Is there like music outside of like your genre that inspires you, or do you even consider yourself in a genre?
Oh, I don't know. I listen to a lot of jazz music, and I think that fuels most of what I do, but I don't think the music I make is actually jazz. I think it's more of like, it just seems kind of straight. I don't know. It could be, I don't know what it could be.
Hip hop vibes, come
It's
on.
like hip hop, but then I made some earlier stuff, and that was pretty, like, it could be indie. Do you know what I mean? It could be indie, like it has elements of like psych pop in there, like Mac DeMarco. I saw him as like quite a big influence like 2 years ago, and yeah, I mean, I don't know if I have a genre necessarily yet, but I feel like maybe the more I do, I might grow into something, or maybe not. But yeah, I listen to lots of stuff, so I wouldn't really confine myself to a genre, and I don't think you can with music. I think it's stupid to put people in a bubble, because then it restricts the audience you can reach, and like no one's just one thing. Do you know what I mean? You can explore and experiment. So yeah,
definitely. I feel the same way with like film. Like I think my favorite artists are ones who can do one genre for one film and then like another genre for another film, you know.
Definitely.
Yeah, it's an interesting one, like the whole genre thing. And like, yeah, do you feel it like puts artists into a box a bit? Or
Definitely. I think if genres didn't exist, I think people would want to be more versatile, and people would be more interesting, because nowadays you get a lot of people like to categorize people like, oh, they look like the type of person that would, listen to this, and then people think, oh yeah, I am the type of person to listen to this, I'm not going to listen to anything else, and it really like limits the sounds that you're surrounding yourself with, and like the energies that you're surrounding yourself with. You never know, like someone who listens to hip hop might be like, oh, whoa, I kind of like indie, I just heard this song and now I'm going to explore this. But everyone tends to kind of stay in one lane and like doesn't explore. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's weird, and it's kind of deep, because like I remember even when I was younger, I thought I wouldn't be cool if I listened to stuff like that wasn't hip hop. Do you know what I mean?
For real, definitely.
So you get like, yeah, even the audience can be put into like a construct of what they like. But yeah, who are some of your like biggest musical inspirations out of interest?
Okay. Ooh.
That's a massive question.
It's so hard, because when I was younger, I used to listen to like a lot of psych, pop, rock kind of thing. But then I also used to listen to a lot of soul. So it was a very weird mix. I'd be listening to like Lauryn Hill, and then the next day I'd be listening to like Tame Impala. And then there was other stuff, like sometimes I'd be a bit more indie and like post-punk. Like I listened to Dandy Warhols and all that kind of stuff. Just a lot of random stuff. Now I like Jerk Curb and like King Cruel, because they mix jazz and soul, like elements of that. They mix that with really guitar heavy sounds like punk, or well, not necessarily punk, but yeah, punk, or like indie music or psych. Like they mix it all. It's cool. I like that kind of thing. But no, I'd say Amy Winehouse as well. I think everyone can hear that. I think I've had that a lot. People kind of like to compare.
For sure.
The voice, yeah. But definitely, she's definitely been, I feel like she's probably the biggest female artist that a lot of girls you know, would want to be inspired by, or like, because she's just an icon. I feel like everyone's inspired by her as a woman, as a female singer in some way. I feel like everyone is. Do you know what I mean?
Definitely. Like,
I think she's so big, especially in Britain, like British culture. I feel like British singers would probably be inspired by her a lot. Like, she kind of changed the face of jazz, I think, in Britain, like especially the London scene. Since then, I feel like it's really taken off. But maybe that's just me. I don't know. I was young then, so I don't know. But yeah.
It was nice being able to grow up like with her, you know.
Yeah, mad. It was amazing. Yeah, Erykah Badu, I've said. I used to really like listening to Baduism and Mama's Gun, both those 2 albums I'd like listen to religiously. They were great. And now Kamasi Washington, like Yusef Days, Kamal Williams, like Thundercat, Kendrick Lamar, like a lot of trap, hip hop, so much. I don't know. I can't even reel it all off.
Yeah, it's a big question, but it's nice. It's nice that there's a wide variety of stuff.
Yeah, it's cool.
Have you seen the Amy documentary?
Yeah, I saw that. Like, I can't remember when it was released, like 2015 or 16. I don't know.
Yeah, it's deep.
But it was so deep. It was real deep. I got really sad.
Yeah, no, it's sad what happened to like Amy, you know, and you know what happens to a lot of musicians. It's crazy.
It's scary as well, because you don't want, you know, being part of the music industry and like friends that have started to take off. Like, you see a couple of people I know, like, I'm just watching them kind of, you know, do their thing and grow, and it's like scary because you don't know the next person that's like, you know, maybe gonna blow up, and then, you know, like stuff can go wrong if it's not handled well. So you don't know, you know, it's always like a bit of a gamble, the music industry. It's quite hard, I think.
Yeah.
Can be.
Yeah, no, for sure. And you feel like, I don't know if there's infrastructure in place to like to deal with that more effectively, or if it's like something that just happens. Like you get the feeling that, you know, there's a lot of like vultures in that industry, you know what I'm saying, who like leech off artists and stuff.
That's why I don't want to, I mean, in the real world, like, if you want to be successful, you have to, go through like labels and management and everything like that. But I kind of don't want to, for that reason, because I don't want, you know, some blokes in their suits like trying to control what I release and then control what I play and what shows I do. And like, I can imagine that's quite daunting for artists, and I see why it can be stressful and hard, and yeah, people need to, you know, step back a bit from that kind of pressure. But yeah.
Do you feel like obviously like the internet has helped with like independent artists? Do you think sometimes the reason it goes wrong is because people get caught up with obsessing about maybe the ego and like the rewards that come with being a successful musician, as opposed to like a love of the art? Or do you think it's just kind of the lines are blurred?
I think the love for the art is becoming non-existent, like in terms of popular culture. I don't actually believe that artists, a lot of artists nowadays, make music because they think it's beautiful and they think it's like good for the soul, and they think people are going to hear it and, you know, it's going to touch them. I don't think that's what really happens anymore. It's definitely, you know, I think the industry's changed, and it's not about the music, definitely not anymore. I mean, I'm not sure if it ever really was. That's why you've got to find like the underground artists that are good, that do it. You know when you see them, and you know when you hear them. The underground artists that are fully immersed in their art. That's the best. I love it. I love that.
For sure. And but also I guess it's tricky as well, because obviously if you wanna, it depends though, because like some people might might just love it so much that they'll do it alongside whatever they're doing. But do you think it gets tricky if like you want it to be the thing that can feed you? Do you know what I mean? Like, is it like, even for you, is it something that you would want to be the only thing that you did, or are you kind of happy you love it so much that you don't mind in what scenario you're doing it, sort of thing?
That has always been really conflicting for me, because I really wanted to devote my whole life to music and just have that as my primary source of income. I thought, oh, that would be such a good idea, but at the minute that's not what I'm doing. I'm doing engineering as well, and that is obviously, that's my main source of income, and music will earn you like absolutely nothing, pennies, if anything. I mean, Spotify give their artists like 0.001p a stream, something ridiculous like that, and it's like you can't make money off of that. And now with Corona and all the live shows, again, a lot of artists would have had a lot of their income from like shows and that kind of stuff, and you know, none of that anymore. So it's all tricky. I don't know if I'd ever be able to get to a point where I could fully just have music as a primary source of income, but it would be nice if one day that happened, because I think I love it too much. Maybe.
Yeah, well, it's, you know, it kind of ties into what we're saying about like maybe, yeah, people not making music for the love of it. Because I think naturally, if you're making music for the pure love of it, eventually you'll probably end up in a situation where it might be your income. Do you know what I mean? But like, I don't know. Yeah. Obviously it's just mad tough, but
it's just mad times.
Yeah.
A lot of it is luck as well. You never know. And if you're really that passionate about it, you'll do it because you love it. Obviously, you're not gonna do it because you think you're gonna get clout and money.
Yeah,
it's not really realistic.
Sure. So yeah, you mentioned like live performances. Like that's crazy now. Like what is the future of like nightclubs and live music? It's like, I don't know how much live music you've done, but is that something that you're passionate about, like doing in the future?
Yeah, I mean, it was about to kick off for me, I think, because I have my amazing cousin called OJ, or Oscar, amazing guitarist, and he was gonna be in my band with his best friend Raina on the drums, and we were just about to set that up, and like we'd done a few jam sessions, we were ready to like maybe start playing a few gigs, and then I got booked for Love Saves the Day, the festival. So that would have been my first festival. And then now, just as things are starting to like, you know, get a bit better on the live side, it kind of just, but that's fine.
It'll come back. It'll come
back eventually, yeah.
with a bang, probably.
Yeah, I don't know, maybe.
I hope so. Surely.
It's a gradual thing. I mean, are they going to be like, oh look, now nightclubs are open, and then all of a sudden everyone's going to be flocking to the nightclubs? I don't know. Is that very COVID secure?
There's already like underground raves happening and that. Like,
yeah, that's true.
Which is, maybe you just have to try and get booked at some underground. Yeah.
Yeah. Don't know.
Yes, it's strange. Such strange times. Obviously, like I saw a while ago, like Dizzy Rascal or something was doing something where people are in their cars and like you know, people like there's talk of, well, I don't know if it's happened, but like people, you know, like having a drive-through, a drive-in concert or something. Did you not hear about that?
Oh yeah, no, I've seen that. Like I've seen those kinds of things anyway, but that's crazy. It's completely. I think it's like, it just takes like, it sucks the soul out of what a live event's meant to be.
Yeah.
And I think I'd rather it if they just didn't have drive-through events. Do you know what I mean? Like, just wait. Like, I mean, I know people want to make money, but it's just not the same. I don't know.
Yeah, Yeah, it's weird. It's super weird. How do you go about like songwriting? I'm always curious about that, like, because it obviously,
Yeah, because
yeah,
everyone has like a different way of
yeah,
doing everything. I mean, well, at the start of when I was making music, I was like, well, I started producing stuff when I was like 16, and I had my iPhone 5 and I had GarageBand on there, and I'd start making like loops like Steve Lacy, because I heard he'd done his demos on his phone. So I was like, okay, well, I'll do that. So for ages, I was actually making beats on my phone and like singing into them. And I was really surprised because those got such a good reception. Like, I released it under my name. And the first track I ever released that I produced on my phone got 30,000 streams. And I was like, and now I'm starting making stuff with a full setup, and it's like it's not hitting the same. So I feel like maybe I should just go back to using my phone. I mean,
the
I
numbers
don't.
don't matter though.
But no, what I do, I mean, I just make a beat. I'd probably start with like a piano or guitar, play a few chords, put a drum pattern over it, add bass, and then I'd start like humming or singing gibberish over the top, and then I'd write lyrics. Sometimes I already have lyrics that I would try and weave into the song, but I prefer making it kind of, I piece it together. So like I do section by section and then I grow the song from there. I don't kind of just produce a whole track, add my vocals over the top. I kind of do a little loop, sing over it, see where it can go, and then be like, okay, this is where it's going. And then, yeah.
And how do you get over, like, because one thing I've always thought deep for musicians is like, and all artists I suppose, is like expressing like vulnerability through your art. You know what I mean? Like how do you go from like, how do you write a song and then deal with like the anxiety of people hearing you pour out your emotions on like a track?
I have struggled with this. Like to this day, I think even more now, I'm struggling with it. I'm currently struggling to release my own stuff, because a lot of the stuff that I've released, over the past year has all been collaborative projects. And I'm struggling to release like the stuff I've produced and written and done completely myself, because that is in itself is vulnerable. Not just the song, but like the project in its entirety. That's just a vulnerable thing, because you're putting your whole self out there, like everything you've done by yourself. So firstly, that in itself is really scary, and I've yet to do that under my new name. But lyrically, all my lyrics are really vulnerable too. So I tend to write. I don't really want to. I kind of feel guilty writing about myself. Do you know what I mean? Because you're talking about yourself, and it's like, it's a bit weird. I don't want people to hear that, but yeah, it is what it is.
I guess it's important though, because like, because even I think the other thing is, if say you're like writing lyrics that sound sad or whatever, then you might put it out and then people might think you're sad, but like
Yeah,
actually,
I always get worried about that too.
yeah. But really, I think it's like it's a way of probably exercising just like your emotions, right? Like, because I felt a bit like that. If I, you know, you put out like a sad film, it's like, oh, people think, oh, you sad or whatever. But it's like, I don't know. Do you think that it has an important place in kind of like people's mental health, like art as a form of expression?
Oh, 100%. I mean, so many people use their creative outlets as like a way to express how they're feeling on the daily or in a moment. So a project can be anything from months of work to done in a few minutes. So a project is like, so for a short project is amazing because it just captures like a moment in time and the state that you feel in that moment. And that's a really like nice way to just get everything out in one moment and kind of stop time and just have it all there. And then projects that take longer to do are equally as important, kind of helping you release like that mental state that you're in over maybe a longer period of time, and just like, and that changes as well, because if you're working on a longer project and you're feeling cool one day and you're working on it, you're adding some of that energy into the project, so you kind of put in bits, you put in different levels to stuff like that. But yeah.
Do you get like scared to work on it? Like, say if you're like writing a sad song, can you work on it when you're like in a good mood? Or do you know what I mean?
Yeah. It depends what I'm doing. So if I was just fiddling around with my mix, then I'd be all right. That's safe. If I'm happy and I'm fiddling around my mix, I'm like, yeah, this is good. But if I was trying to maybe carry on with the lyrics or sing certain melodies, I don't know, maybe, I don't know. I don't think it's that deep in a way. I feel like if you feel productive, then that's good. It doesn't matter if you're happy or if you're sad. If you're feeling productive, then stuff's gonna come out. Yeah.
For sure, for sure. How do you like? Obviously, everyone gets like writer's block. How do you deal with like staying like motivated to keep creating? Like, obviously, this lockdown's been a mad challenge, but is there any like things that you do that help keep you kind of motivated to write, or do you prefer it to just come naturally whenever you're feeling inspired?
Well, uh, I get really demotivated very easily, and even though like I love creating so much, it sometimes is just a struggle to open up a file and be like, okay, I'm going to work on it, or I'm going to create something new. I do get demotivated really easily, and the only thing that kind of helps me motivate myself is probably other people. Other people are like, Amelia, work on this for me, then I'll do it. But other than that, I find it really hard to push myself to do something when I don't really want to. So yeah, I'd probably like let it settle and then wait a while to get back to whatever I'm doing and get that motivation back up again. So yeah, I think so.
Fair. By the way, I had no idea that you played like piano in church and stuff as when, do you still do it, or when you were younger? I didn't even know you were religious.
Yeah. Oh, good
Or are you?
question. Yeah, no, it's a, obviously I think to everyone it's like that question is, it's a big one. So I played piano in church since the age of 14 until I was 18. Now I'm 19. So it was only last year I stopped because I was doing A levels at the time. So I had to stop when I was doing my exams. And then since then, I just haven't gone back.
Got back. Did you see the deep chat with Eric?
Yeah, I saw that. It was really deep. And I resonated a lot with a lot of points. But yeah, no, personally, like, so I'm Italian and my mum, she's Italian, and obviously in Italy you're Catholic, like that's a very big part of the culture. So I went to a Catholic church, and I still love the church. I think it's great. I just don't go anymore because I kind of was there for the music. Do you know what I mean? I was there because that was what I was kind of called to do, and that's probably, maybe it wasn't the only reason I went though, because I did feel in a really good free space every time I went to church. It felt like a nice release. It was, I did enjoy it, and I would say that in a way I'm religious, because I do believe in God, but only in a certain sense. I don't think it's it's kind of like a normal following a religion. I think
You're
it
not,
might be more spiritual.
you're not out there preaching with Eric at the Baptist church.
No, I love it though. I do resonate with it a lot because, again, I think you said this with Eric in the podcast you did with him, but like, is it because you're brought up that way that you feel that way? So for me, I've always struggled to be like, do I feel this way because I was brought up that way? I don't know. But what but I do definitely feel like deep connection sometimes with nature and with maybe a higher being. But because I'm also like a very scientific person, I do believe completely in like the mathematical processes in which the universe was created, in science, completely, 100%. I would never doubt science. So I have both, I can see both sides and I respect them both equally, because I think when you fully know the extent and when you study something really in depth, you have a much better understanding. Education is like the key to everything. So if you educate yourself in everything that you could possibly be interested in, then you're definitely going to have a clearer picture of what you believe in.
Yeah, and obviously, like, they're not necessarily mutually exclusive.
No way.
And I think that's what Eric explains so well. And I guess, but I suppose that doesn't necessarily, like, that side of you wouldn't necessarily influence your music. Because it's interesting how, like, Eric, right? He, I don't know if you know, but a couple years ago, he like was making kind of like grunge and like like loads of cool music.
I heard that. Yeah. I think when he maybe stopped just as I'd met him, but I'd already heard one of his songs back then. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, and then obviously he switched to, like, obviously a lot of his music is about God and stuff now. But I take it that you don't feel like a pressure to make your music about that. Is there something that's just beautiful about art that expresses everything wonderful about this world without being like specifically, I don't know.
Oh, I actually do question existence a lot in my music, a lot. And like one of my older songs I remember, that was about Jesus, that was about God. So I do explore those themes, but I guess it's more in a way that you wouldn't really see it, it's a bit more low key. And I feel, do you know what? People have said to me they don't understand what I say when when they're listening to my songs. So no one can understand it anyway. But yeah, that's it.
That's, yeah. Well, as long as they can feel it, as long as they can feel
as long
it.
as they can feel it.
Yeah, engineering, like, that's mad. So is that like, do you feel a bit like that, it shouldn't, but like, what's it like being a woman who's like in engineering? Is that something that you've thought about, or you're not fussed about, or?
Oh, it's definitely, you definitely feel it, like being a woman in engineering. It's like you're stepping into a world that is very male dominated. I mean, there's a lot nowadays, it's getting better, definitely. There are a lot more women, but you still feel like you kind of just feel like a bit of an outsider looking in, because especially I work in a place that's we make, it's aerospace engineering, so it's planes and
Mad.
Yeah, it's crazy. But like, everyone talks about cars and motors and their motorbikes. Do you know what I mean? So I'm kind of stepping into something like entirely different, and it kind of feels like a lot of people are they think the same and are the same, and they're into typically male orientated stuff like cars and bikes, and I'm just there like, oh, I do music as well. So yeah, it's definitely like a little bit odd, but it's cool. I like it.
And it's important, I guess, you know what I mean? So, young girls know they can do that,
Definitely. definitely. Yeah, because I mean, I like to study around what I'm doing. Like, I don't want to just do, so aerospace engineering is like to do with planes, and I don't necessarily want to be polluting the planet.
Yeah.
So, you know, I also want to try and maybe help be one of those people that helps lead the future to a more sustainable, environmentally friendly way of living as well. There's loads of things you can do, but that's definitely something that I'd be more keen to do if I were going to stay in engineering. Maybe if music doesn't take off or happen, or
Which it will definitely take off. Oh, you heard it here first, guys. No,
you
you are amazingly talented. And again, it's one of the, I think, you know, it's not like, because I've had to think about this a lot with my own art, and like I was just saying at the beginning, you know, being able to work on something very like, you know, like rough and ready, like on like at a grassroots level. Like me and my brother are literally running around with a camera and like a mic, like doing everything ourselves. With
I
our
feel
own,
that.
yeah, like with our own money. And it's like, actually you realize that that's actually, the passion is there, as opposed to getting some like big commission that might go on like an established channel or something. It's kind of like, I don't know, it's definitely, you realize that, yeah, the grind will lead you somewhere that you want to be. And I think you've got to trust that, for sure.
100%. I feel like whatever happens as well is always, I feel everything happens for a reason. Again, that is a big, you know, it's a big statement that is very, I mean, it's kind of a spiritual thing. I definitely believe that everyone's kind of got a path and everything does work out in the end if you really put your mind to it and persevere in life. So yeah, what you're doing is literally 100% that. And I just think what you're doing is really, really cool, by the way. I know we're doing a podcast. I don't know what we're meant to be talking about. But yeah.
It probably seems cooler than it actually is. I like to think that.
But again, like what you said, it's just, there's something different about doing everything yourself. And I love to be in control. And like, I'm sure you feel the same. It's so much better when you finish something and you look at it and you think, well, I've just done all that myself. You kind of feel like, oh, you feel good about it. And also it goes to show that you can really do stuff if you put your mind to it.
Absolutely. And I recommend that to anyone with little passions on the side or whatever. Like, you just got to go for it. Just chase it. Like, yeah. Don't worry about the clout.
No, never.
This buzzword that's infiltrated the youth.
It's horrible. Oh, I feel like a lot of people nowadays, like, they try and get like a certain, I don't know, is it amount of clout? I don't even know what you say anymore. Like, is it, you get a certain, they try and get clout and like it kind of backfires, because I feel like if you try and chase the idea of clout, you kind of just look tacky. It doesn't quite work. You have to be authentic, like.
Sure. And people can see through it as well, you know what I mean?
Do that. Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, my belly's grumbling a little bit.
Is it is it tea time?
It's tea time.
Can you smell the food?
Yeah, I haven't called it tea time since like I was a kid, I don't think.
To be fair, I don't know why I've called it tea time. What do I usually call it? Tea.
Tea. Yeah, where does that come from?
It's
That's like some old English thing, like tea. You know what I mean?
Yeah, people can very easily get confused. I'll be like, oh, do you want some tea? And they won't know if I mean tea or if I mean tea.
What is wrong with our language, Amelia?
I don't know.
But thank you so much for talking to me.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been really nice.
I'm very excited to see more music that you produce in the future. I'm a fan, and keep going, keep hustling, and try and survive the pandemic winter with a smile on your face.
Not really looking forward to that, but yeah.
It'd be all right.
We'll get through it. We will. Yeah. Thank you for this. It's been really, really good. Good fun.
No problem. All right, take care. Speak soon.
Cheers.
See you later.